Beneath the shimmering surface of the Aegean Sea lies a city older than the pyramids, streets paved 5,000 years ago, now walked only by fish, doorways where families once gathered, now framed by coral and silence. This is Pavlopetri, the world's oldest known submerged city, and its story is one of catastrophe, mystery, and astonishing human resilience. It was 1967. The Cold War raged above the waves, but beneath them, a young scientist named Nicholas Fleming made a discovery that would rewrite Mediterranean history. While surveying coastal erosion off the coast of Greece, he stumbled upon something impossible: rectangular shapes, right angles, stone foundations stretching for hundreds of meters. Not natural, not random, designed. At first, skeptics dismissed it. Perhaps an odd rock formation, a trick of the light. But Fleming returned, with measuring tapes, with cameras, with conviction. What he found was a Bronze Age metropolis, drowned, preserved, forgotten. Carbon dating placed Pavlopetri's origins around 2,800 BCE, centuries before the Great Pyramid rose in Giza. This wasn't just a village. It had streets, courtyards, tombs, even what appears to be a megaron, a great hall where rulers may have held court. And crucially, it had trade: pottery shards from Crete, tools from Anatolia. This city was a crossroads of the ancient world. Astonishing human resilience. Imagine waking here 4,500 years ago. Dawn breaks over low stone houses, their walls painted ochre and indigo. The scent of baking bread mingles with salt air. Boats return with tuna and octopus. Traders unload obsidian from Melos, olive oil from the mainland. In the central plaza, elders debate harvest yields, while scribes etch records onto clay, perhaps in the mysterious script we now call Linear A. Pavlopetri thrived for over 1,000 years. Generations were born, loved, argued, worshipped, died within these streets. They buried their dead in chamber tombs carved into bedrock, some still holding skeletons curled in eternal rest, surrounded by beads, daggers, and drinking cups. But then, the earth moved. Around 1000 BCE, disaster struck. Not war, not famine. The ground itself betrayed them. Geological evidence points to a massive earthquake, likely part of the same tectonic unrest that shattered Mycenaean palaces across Greece. Pavlopetri sat on a fault line, and when the earth ruptured, the sea rushed in. Some fled. Others did not. Archaeologists have found human remains caught mid-flight, crushed under collapsing walls, a mother's hand still clutching her child's, a merchant frozen reaching for his scales. Time stopped, then sank. But nature didn't destroy Pavlopetri. It preserved it. Unlike cities burned or looted above ground, this one lay untouched, sealed, silent, waiting. But who lived here? What did they look like? What made them laugh or cry? Forensic archaeologists have begun reconstructing faces from the skulls found in Pavlopetri's tombs. Meet Elpis, a woman in her 30s, buried with a necklace of seashells and lapis lazuli, stones imported from over 800 miles away. Her smile? We can't know. But her reach across the ancient world? That we can measure. Isotope analysis of her bones tells us she wasn't born here. She migrated, perhaps for love, for trade, for safety. Pavlopetri wasn't isolated. It was cosmopolitan, a melting pot of the Bronze Age Mediterranean, and her child, buried beside her, just 5 years old. No inscription tells us their names, but their story, it echoes in every parent who's ever held a child too tight, afraid of what the world might take. Let's walk a day in their sandals. Dawn breaks, the smell of wood smoke and salt, In House Delta 7, a potter fires his kiln, crafting amphorae that will sail to Crete, carrying olive oil and stories. At the harbor, boats return heavy with tuna, nets glistening, men singing work songs older than memory. Midday, children play knucklebones in the alley behind the Megaron. A scribe etches symbols onto damp clay, recording shipments, debts, perhaps even poetry. We may never decipher linear A, but we know this. Someone cared enough to write it down. Sunset. Families gather on rooftops. They watch the same stars we do. Did they tell myths of gods beneath the waves? Did they fear the earth's rumble? Or thank it for fertile soil? This wasn't myth. This was routine. The sacred ordinary, now submerged. The earthquake didn't come without warning. Cracks in the plaster, springs running dry, animals fleeing to high ground. But in 1000 BCE, there were no Richter scales, no evacuation plans, only omens and prayers. When it hit, likely magnitude 7 or higher, it lasted less than a minute. But in that minute, streets became chasms, temples became tombs, and then came the water. Not a tsunami, not exactly, but a sudden subsidence. The land dropped. The sea rushed in. Within an hour, Pavlopetri was gone, swallowed not by war or plague, but by the planet itself. Geologists call it co-seismic subsidence. The people of Pavlopetri, they called it the end of the world. Here's the haunting question. Why didn't they come back? Other cities, Troy, Knossos, were destroyed and rebuilt, again and again. But Pavlopetri, left to the fish and the silence. The answer lies in timing. Pavlopetri fell during the late Bronze Age collapse, a period so catastrophic, historians still debate its cause. Climate change? Drought? Invasion? Systemic failure? Likely, all of the above. Trade routes shattered. Writing systems vanished. Populations plummeted. In this chaos, who had the resources to drain a sunken city? Who had the hope? Pavlopetri didn't just sink into the sea, it sank into oblivion. Today, Pavlopetri is rising again. Not from water, but from data. Teams from MIT, the University of Nottingham, and the Greek effort of underwater antiquities are building a digital twin of the entire city. Using photogrammetry, machine learning, and spatial AI, they're reconstructing homes, streets, even probable furniture layouts, all without lifting a single artifact. Dr. Elena Vujiuka, marine archaeologist. We're not just mapping stone, we're mapping human behavior. Where did they cook? Where did they pray? Where did children play? The city's layout is a diary written in architecture. Soon you'll be able to walk Pavlopetri in VR, hearing ambient soundscapes, seeing speculative animations based on archaeological evidence. History, no longer behind glass, but alive around you. In 2023, divers found something small and shattering. A child's toy, a clay horse, one leg broken, paint still clinging to its side. Someone loved this, someone lost this, and now we've found it. What would they say to us if they could? Remember us. Don't make our mistakes. The earth moves. Be ready, or maybe just, we were here. Pavlopetri isn't a ruin. It's a letter, waterlogged, delayed, but delivered. 5,000 years from now, what will remain of our cities? What will the deep sea cradle and keep? Pavlopetri doesn't just teach us about the past, it whispers about the future. Look down, listen, remember. Pavlopetri asks us a quiet question. How many other worlds lie beneath our feet or beneath our waves? Civilizations swallowed by sand, by jungle, by sea. We think of history as written in stone, but sometimes it's written in water. This city teaches us that collapse is not always the end, that loss can become legacy, that silence can still speak. Next time you stand at the ocean's edge, look down. You may be gazing into the window of a home, a temple, a life, a mirror of our own fleeting moment in time. Pavlopetri remembers. And now, so do we.